Hello students and welcome to Top Scholars. Students, today we'll be talking about another very interesting topic, that is Meiosis II. The very first one we are going to learn about is the second meiotic division, or we can just plainly call it Meiosis II. Students, this particular meiosis is very similar to mitotic division. In fact, it involves the same four phases, the very first of which, as you can see, is Prophase II, followed by Metaphase II, then comes Anaphase II, and finally we have telophase II. One important point to remember here is that this particular division occurs in two haploid cells simultaneously, and at the end of the Meiosis II, it leads to the formation of four haploid cells. Okay students, moving on, let us start with the very first phase of Meiosis II, that is Prophase II. Now students, what is going to happen here? Let us see. Very firstly, what will happen is the chromosomes start to appear again, followed by the nuclear membrane disappears. Students, if you remember, even in Prophase I, the nuclear membrane had disappeared. Same thing is going to occur here, that is the disappearance of the nuclear membrane. Moving on, there will be formation of spindle fibers which will start again. And finally students, at this stage, the chromosomes are made up of two distinct sister chromatids which are attached to a single centromere. Okay, moving on, now we study the second phase, that is Metaphase II. In this particular phase student, the spindle formation is complete. Also students, the chromosome get oriented at the equator of the spindle. Even the centromeres are aligned at the equator. And finally students, the arms of the sister chromatids are directed towards the poles of the spindle. This is because eventually these particular arms are going to move toward that particular pole. Moving on students, next we have Anaphase II. In this particular phase, the centromere in each chromosome finally divides, separating the sister chromatids. These sister chromatids are now dragged towards their respective poles. And finally students, two identical groups of haploid chromosomes are formed. Students, there is something which is very important that you should notice here. Till now, we were calling them as sister chromatids. But the moment they reach their opposite poles, now they are referred to as the haploid chromosomes. This is very, very important.
To learn more about this topic, download Toppscholars app.